About 3 blocks away, there is a Masonic temple, and it's a stone building, and I drive by there on my way home. And one day I looked at that and I thought, well, what would it be like to go inside that place? And there are very few windows and just a very few doors. And I realized how difficult it would be for me. I'm obviously not a Masonic person, to go into that space. And then it struck me how difficult it is for people to come into my space, the chapel, the church. And I realized that there's an emotional ticket that is spent when you're an unfamiliar person going into an unfamiliar place. And it makes a big, big difference if you have a friend to go with you. The ticket is far less. But I also know that space requires an emotional ticket itself. And the chapel is a very foreboding, fortressy kind of space that requires a large emotional ticket. I've had conversations with students who were even Lutheran, who were used to going to church. One student told me that they sat in the parking lot and were just anxious about coming into this space because it just didn't feel very inviting. And so these are the kind of things that I'm hearing. So a renovated space would allow for us to be far more open, far more engaging. We do know that students need space, especially study space. So I'm envisioning a space where students would feel very easily invited into, especially since we're surrounded by Greek Row and all these fraternities and sororities, that students would feel more welcome to be in and out to study. It would allow us to come alongside them as the semester rolls on, to introduce ourselves, to ask them how they're doing, to maybe even praying for them. And so it's a little way for us to begin to build relationships with people through our space. We've built on this campus a great reputation, especially among international students. We have people from all over the world using our space for birthday parties and wedding anniversaries and just gatherings. And a renovated space would allow us to further build those friendships. We want to say yes to the campus groups who need space as often as we can, because we know that as we extend kindness to them and conversations happen, inevitably they say, well, how can we show kindness back? And we often say, well, cook for us, invite us over for dinner, make food for us. And so we eat with them and we get to know them and we invite them into a ski trip or a spring break missions trip or something like that. And we've had students come into our midst because of our space. And a lot of it has to start with extending goodwill into the campus. And so that's what a renovated space would allow us to do. It would allow us to have excellent space for students to use, a space that we could offer to a variety of students to use and build relationships through that. It's a space that we could use as well. We have Bible huddles throughout the week, and it would allow us to spread out in those Bible huddles. It would allow us to provide a better means for us in terms of worship services as well, having a flat floor versus a floor with an incline. And so a space like that would be ideal.